Welcome back, DK Shop. Today we're heat treating a survival knife in my brand new heat treat oven. This knife will be the very first knife I heat treat in my new heat treat oven, and that is what I'm going to share with you today. So before we get to heat treating this knife, let's talk a little bit about it. This knife is made out of 8670 high carbon steel. It is actually the toughest steel tested by Laren at knifesteelnerds.com to date. This steel is actually tougher than 5160, which is leaf spring steel, or commonly used in leaf springs anyway. So on my shop wall I have these heat treating charts hanging for my 4 most commonly used steels in my knives. Got 80 CRV2, 1075, 8670, and 15N20. So now let's take a look at 8670. In order to properly harden 8670, you need to heat it to 1560 degrees Fahrenheit to 1635 degrees Fahrenheit and hold that temperature for 5 minutes. That exact temperature. And then you quench it in oil. For comparison, 15N20, which is my personal favorite non-stainless high carbon steel, you heat it up to 1480 degrees and then quench it in oil. Both 15N20 and 8670 are relatively simple and low alloyed steels, but the difference in temperatures required is exactly why I purchased a heat treat oven. Heat treat ovens offer a level of accuracy with your temperatures that you just cannot achieve with a gas-powered forge. Using a heat treat oven to hold a specific temperature is a lot more advanced than waiting for your knife to become non-magnetic in a forge and then quenching it in oil. This will just bring much more repeatable results, and it opens up my knife making to a much bigger variety of steels. With the heat treat oven plus some other equipment that I don't have yet, you can heat treat stainless steels, tool steels, high-speed steels, pretty much any kind of steel that you want. So this is a game changer. Not only that, but you get a much more even heat in your chamber with one of these heat treat ovens than is really possible in a forge environment. So the particular Evenheat that I purchased is the LB18 240 volt model. I chose the 18-inch depth because really, that's a big knife. Much bigger than I typically like to make. It's also the smallest and most affordable LB series model. So I'm going to gloss over actually setting up the program with the controller. I'm still getting used to the controller itself. It is the Set Pro controller Evenheat offers. Essentially, I set up the controller to ramp up to the set temperature at full power. The set temperature being 1560 degrees, and then a hold time of 5 minutes. One thing I'm noticing right off the bat is I've never had this much scale come off in a quench from my forge, and never along the entire knife. So that is a good sign from experience. I got a nice good quench. And for now, I am still relying on these Japanese hardness testing files to attempt to verify about where my knives are. Like I have spoken of previously, this is not the most exact way of checking your Rockwell hardness, but it is a lot more accurate than just using any regular old file. So according to that heat treat chart we looked at earlier, this should be about 62 out of the quench, this particular steel. So this is my 60 file. I'm just going to give it a quick once over. I have no doubt that it's fine, but it's always good to double check these things. Now if you are to do this yourself, keep in mind this black oxide layer will come off with these files very easy. And there is always a layer of decarburization, which is usually, only a few thousandths thick, but it is possible to scratch some of the surface away with these files, but the steel underneath those layers can still be where it should be. Oh, she's definitely hard. She's definitely where she should be. As I spoke of before, the scale is coming off, but that's not a big deal. She is glass hard right now. That is awesome. Alright, that about wraps up this episode of EK Shop. I thank you for joining me. I am very excited where this heat treat oven will take me, and hence you, by viewing my videos. On the next episode, I'm going to be putting the handle on this knife, and I'm a little excited about this too. I'm going to be using lead wood. Basically, it looks like a walnut, but it's actually harder and denser than desert ironwood. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you can check out that video when it comes out in the next couple weeks. And until next time, I'll see you.